Contrary to popular belief, the most profitable part about publishing a best-selling book is not the actual book sales themselves. As a best-selling author of multiple books, I can tell you that what's really the profitability behind a book and becoming an author is the business that you're able to build on the back end of a book. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 11 ways to profit from a health book without selling a single copy. There's a lot of misunderstandings regarding book authorships and how you're able to create these. So what I'm going to be talking about is before I share with you those 11 ways to profit from a book without selling a single copy, I wanted to talk about what is the number one habit of highly effective authors. In the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says that highly effective people begin with the end in mind. Whereas Enoch Leffingwell says highly effective authors begin with the back end in mind. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at your business and you look at your book, every time that your book solves a problem, you are helping people, say, to lose weight, to feel great, to improve their brain, to restore their relationship with their body, help them to get fit. Whatever the case is, you are solving a problem. But every time that you solve a problem, it actually creates follow-up problems that your business is able to solve. And so by beginning with the business that you want to build beyond the book, this is where highly effective authors are able to build wildly profitable health education businesses, where I often ask people, authors, and I say, so tell me about your business beyond the book. What is that like? And they're like, well, to be honest, I'm not sure. Some of that's a little harder, but if you get the book right, then everything else can start to fall into place. I like to think of it kind of like a prism. If you have this prism, what it does is it takes light and then it refracts it into a spectrum of 7 different colors of the rainbow. And if you look at that light that goes into the prism, it's like your book, the content in your book. I like to call it a lighthouse content that is solving problems for people. And then what happens is, as your book solves problems for people, it actually creates, it multiplies, not just 7, but even 11 different other problems that are now created that didn't exist before the book was bought. That if you're effective, if you're a smart author, and you're going to create what I like to call follow-up products to solve the follow-up problems. So what do I mean by that? Here are some of the 11 ways, and in this, I'm going to be unlocking the PRISM code. This is what it's called. How many of you are ready for me to crack the code of how you're able to make profit from your book, even without selling a single copy? This PRISM code comes from the book Cracking the Millionaire Code. It was written by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen, and they shared this PRISM code, and it's an acronym. It's very fascinating. But in order to help you understand it, I'm going to give an example that they don't give in the book of Kain Poland. She is the founder of Lady Boss Weight Loss. She went from spending her last $1,000 into her business to then growing it in 3 years to being to selling millions of dollars, helping women and hundreds of thousands of women to lose weight with zero tech experience and no product. And so she was able to do this. And here in this photo, her and her husband is actually receiving an award that is representing that she's made over $10 million through her online websites. And so what I'm going to share is I'm going to break down how she followed this PRISM code to unlock this wealth. This is a wealth creation code. So the first P in PRISM is products. This is, for an example, let's look at Kain Poland. She wrote a health book called Big Fat Lies, and she was overcoming so many of the lies that the weight loss industry or a health industry wants to teach people that keeps women fat, keeps them overweight. And she was able to launch her book to #1 bestseller in Barnes & Nobles and Amazon within 24 hours using the exact same principles that I teach my students in helping them to write, to publish, to launch their book to #1 bestseller within 60 days. And she was able to get to this #1 bestseller. Now, she's not my student, but she followed the same principles that I share with my students. And when you look at this health book, now she's helping people lose weight. What is another type of product that you're able to create? Well, there's in the wealth code, there is related products. The R stands for related products. So what are examples of that? Well, she started to providing protein shakes. Now that people are able to lose weight, well, what about the protein? What about their nutrition that's going to help fuel their weight loss, their metabolism? So she formulated this Lady Boss Lean that allows people to eat cake and lose weight. And she made this brand around that. And then also you have fitness kitchen equipment that now that you are going to be exercising, she's able to monetize with some exercise equipment, or she could provide shaker bottles, she could provide kitchen supplies. And for some of you, whatever the business you have, think about, okay, what are some other related products that fit or that you're able to apply in your business? And you might either manufacture it yourself, you might partner with a strategic partnership of a company that's able to provide these for you so you don't have to handle all the inventory. Excuse me. But and then another thing she did is supplements. Well, now where are they going to supplement their nutrition, their greens, recovery from their exercise, maybe some protein bars or some metabolism activation capsules that are going to help. So she's able to formulate these supplements that are now able to help people along their weight loss journey. And then what about accountability? What about excuse me. What about the accountability, the support, the training? Well, then now that opens the doors for a mobile app. And it's from the same principles that she taught in her book that now she's able to guide people through content that you could literally link to YouTube videos, but now it's just convenient in her app. And she's able to help send people push notifications through their phone. That's able to give them recipes. It's able to give them workouts that help them to track their fitness goals. Where now there's opportunities, and since AI has been around, I mean, there's tools that have never been easier to publish a mobile app than today. And so she's able to monetize from this. And then there's swag. She has been incredibly successful in selling the t-shirts and the swag and the gear and the clothing and the apparels, the merch that has built a community of Lady Boss women who are wearing their colors, their uniform, and they're part of this close-knit connection where it all starts from her Big Fat Lies book, where as they go through and they read the book and they get so inspired by the journey, the story, what's possible, and then people want some clothing that can represent their brand and the community that they're a part of. And how much money did she make in selling related products alone? She made over $150 million selling these 5 things that I just described to you. Now, how many of you see how a book creates some related opportunities that you may have otherwise missed? Put a yes in the chat if you can see more opportunities that you can have by publishing a best-selling book and getting your health message packaged in that way. Absolutely. So the R in PRISM is related products. What about the I? I stands for information products. Every time you have a product, you create a product, you now open the door for information products that can now educate people through this experience. And I believe that every business model and every individual, a way that they could increase the perceived value of their offer, their business, their service, whatever it is, everyone can supplement their income through these information products. What are some examples of that? An information product would look like online courses. She has this Transformation Academy that helps people to lose weight and keep it so they have lasting transformation. It's a step-by-step program. You could also provide challenges. People invest in these challenges, a 30-day slim down or a 5-day cake challenge where you can eat cake and lose weight and still have healthy, nutritious foods that fuel your body And so you could sell challenges that are now based on your book. And I know that in my book on high ticket health coaching, I have a 5-day challenge that is able to walk people through step by step how they can apply the principles that are in this book. I know that Hal Elrod, when he wrote The Miracle Morning, he gave people a challenge or an action guide that can help them to apply the principles to start building lasting habits. That's a quick tip, that when you create your book, have actionable items or a challenge that could guide them in the implementation. Makes a huge difference. What other information products? Well, she started providing ebooks where these now have worksheets, they have workbooks, they have examples, they have recipes. There's other ways that you're able to do that. And she made over $25 million selling digital products in her Lady Boss weight loss business. Now, how many of you would like to share your health message digitally? How about a yes in the chat if you see the desire and you desire to get your message out digitally? The nice thing about information products is that when you create it one time, it takes the same amount of effort to sell to 10 people your digital course as it does to sell to 1,000 people. Whereas when I was working in a mechanic shop, or even as a coach, if you're doing one-on-one coaching, are you prepared? Or if you think about your offer or what you currently do, are you prepared to take people, if you desire to have 1,000 people to say yes into your business in one day, would you be able to service them with the way that your current offerings look like, your current products or programs or health solutions? And a lot of the ways that health coaches provide health coaching, they're not able to handle at that level. I was coaching, I was consulting with a woman who has these health retreats, and she goes around the nation and she does these, and she's just being requested from all over because people are getting results. It's a 10-day cleanse program, and she's like, there's not enough of me to go around. And if she is able to package her program into an information product where, yeah, it's not as ideal as the in-person, but it's a way that you can service people. For those who can't afford your program, who can't come to you in person, or that you're not able to go to every individual, you're able to provide them a way that they can go through the information and in an actionable, oriented, step-by-step system. Then that is tremendous value. If you're looking at either they have it all or they have nothing, then why not give them a middle tier that people are able to invest $200, $300 to $2,000 for a home study course? It makes a big difference. And so the I represents information products. What does the S represent? Services. Services are, and now for a percentage of the people that are going to read your book, what they're going to do is they're going to ask you, hey, I love the principles in your book. Do you provide coaching? Would you be willing to coach me through? Because they want a level of done with you opportunity, where a lot of digital info products are do it yourself. A book is do it yourself, but coaching is more of a premium model where people are willing to pay you $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 for you to help coach them through on a more intimate kind of basis. Even if there's group coaching, people will pay $30,000 for group coaching. And it makes such a profound difference. And you're going to find that as you author a book, more people are going to ask you to coach them through it because they're sold on the principles that you teach in your book. Another thing it opens the door for is consulting, where now other people who desire, like for Lady Boss, for Kaylin Poland, for people who wanted to lose weight, people who wanted to grow, and they start coming together and they're learning, and through consulting, it opens the doors for other opportunities. I believe that if you desire to get paid consulting fees, where you can get paid $3,000 an hour just for consulting people, and a book is one of the things that can help you to raise your consultation prices, to help you to be able to charge a premium price for your health advice. And the right people will not have a challenge with paying it, because to the right person, this is going to help this is going to get them a higher result, a more customized plan that they wouldn't be able to get through like your course or through a seminar. And it also opens the doors for workshops and retreats. We see Kain has been able to gather together some of her community and speak to them and do boot camps, and to be able to help people in a group environment to just go to a destination event and teaching the same principles that are included in her book. She's able to take those principles and now offer it in a live workshop where people are implementing the principles. And then it also opens the doors for speaking, where what you're going to find as well is that as people read your book, there's going to be event planners, meeting decision makers. There's going to be podcast hosts. There's going to be people who have health conferences that they are looking for speakers. And having a book sets you apart from the rest of the speaking competition who has not yet published a book. And then as they're reading through, they're like, wow, this is amazing. They get an idea of what kind of things you teach about. And then they're willing to pay you a price for you to fly over to cover your hotels, your airfare, and a lot of times for you to go vacation, give you extra that you could bring your family, or to be able to explore in the area and to expand your horizon. Now you have an audience of it could be hundreds or sometimes thousands of your ideal clients who fits and who desires to find a coach, who desires to pay someone to help them walk them through the process, your process as mentioned in your book. So how many of you would like to get booked and paid to speak about the principles and the health message shared in your book? How about a yes in the chat if you can see yourself and you desire to share your message far and wide? You can do that. There's services that are innately created, that are desired because people read your book. These are the things that people are interested in. And then the last one, when you're looking at M, stands for media. Media, you could see the type of examples where, first of all, media absolutely loves authors. Podcasts are a great way to sell more books, to get more media coverage, because these podcasts, what I tell people often is when I'm coaching entrepreneurs and health educators, what I share with them is like, why try to focus so much energy and effort on building your own platform and just focusing on that? If that's all you're doing, you have an audience of none, when you could leverage these other podcasts that have over 142,000 of your ideal clients. They've already been gathered. There's congregations online that people have dedicated 12 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars into investment, into ads, into and years and thousands of hours into cultivating the skills of creating content so they could attract your ideal clients. And the podcast hosts are constantly looking for authorities on the subject. And the root word of authority is author, because the fact that you publish a book now makes you an authority. And I ask, like, some people are like, well, I'm not really credible enough to publish a book. And I would challenge that, is it that people are credible because they publish, do people publish a book because they're credible, or are they credible because they publish a book? I would say that a book helps tremendously. Even speaking and being interviewed on podcasts, the very act of other people interviewing you makes you perceive, it increases the perception of value that you have, the perception of expertise that you have. I was speaking at an event and I was sharing how I travel and I teach on these principles, and the Uber driver was like, I dream to be able to create content and turn this passion into a career. And he's like, the fact that you are able to speak and share on these principles, I mean, clearly that shows that you are credible. And he bought my book, and he was able to go through and understand more about my program and what I do and how I help people. And it's because of he didn't even see me on stage. He just knew that that's where I was going because I got invited to Texas to speak. So podcasts open up. And the thing about podcasts, they tend to be more affluent listeners. They care about personal development. So they're willing to these are the types of people who, as they're listening to podcasts, they're readers, because leaders are readers, and they're more likely to buy your book. And it's really not so much about the book sales, it's about all the back-end business that your book is able to build for you. I believe a book is one of the most foundational, the most beneficial pieces of a marketing that every health coach, every health speaker could benefit by getting more leads, more clients, more conversions, and more people buying your premium programs who get started from a book. And another type of media that you can get is blogs. You're able to turn the chapters of your book, they make great blog articles. You're able to guest post your blogs and the chapters in your book, the principles in your book, to other people's blogs, and you're able to leverage their audiences. The nice thing about blogs is people who read blogs are readers, so they're more likely to read books. And so when you are able to share your message on the same formats of what you're going to sell, it tends to work out very well. If you're on a podcast, you can give a lead magnet. You can mention your audiobook because they're going to listen. If you're writing on a blog, and you could really repurpose chapters in your book for these guest blogs, then you're able to sell your copy of your book, your ebook. If you're at an event, events absolutely love for when speakers are able to sell their book from the stage or at the event, or they could raise the price of the event ticket to include purchasing a book for every one of their audience for you. So you could sell 2,000 of them in one day. And now everybody has it, and you're able to set aside and start signing books and meeting and greeting with the author. It makes the events host look good, and it makes you look good, and the audience absolutely loves connecting with the author. Everybody wins. More media that you can get on is interviews. People love to interview authors and have these experts interviews. There's also YouTube collaborations that you're able to get on other people's YouTube channel. I was on a YouTube channel that had over 200,000 subscribers, and instantly I had 18,000 people who were able to watch and listen and watch my message, where if I go live on my platform, I don't have an audience of 18,000 that fast, but you're able to leverage other people's audiences. So in the beginning, you can borrow your audience to build an audience. And contrary to popular belief, you don't need to have a big audience to make big money online. When you understand how to write a book profitably and build a business on the back end of that book, it opens the doors for you to be able to leverage other people's audiences, one of the fastest, easiest ways than any other way that I know of. More media that you can do is social media. Social media, where Kaylin Poland her content has had over 1 billion views, and on YouTube, on TikTok, on different platforms, and it's billions of people that you have access to. And so what I do is I teach my students, whether they haven't published a book yet or they've already published a book and they want to get to bestseller, I teach them how that they're able to package their health knowledge into what I call book-based content. When you're able to use social media content to promote your book, you can get some more of those sales. I interviewed last week the author of Fit to Fat to Fit, Drew Manning, and he's been featured on the Dr. Oz show. He's been on various platforms, and he's got a social media following. He didn't have it before his book, but his book was a turning point that helped him to go full-time into his business. And I asked him, out of everything that you've ever done, what has been the most successful at creating book sales? And he said, definitely social media. Social media has been where it's at. So those are ways that you're able to take the principles in your book, and you have endless amount of content. You can now record, each chapter can be a video, each section can be microblogs that you're able to post. You can have visual aids or infographics created using tools like Canva or a designer on Upwork that's able to turn the principles in your book into other designs that make great for Instagram, Facebook, different locations, and the list goes on. Also, you can get featured on news, where a news app loves the credible sources and always looking for opportunities to interview people who have done something. And so being featured on news, Kain Pullen was able to do that. Also talk shows where you can do demos of explaining certain illustrations that you've done. Those people love. Also magazines opens the doors as you get your message out. Magazines will come to you. And again, people who read magazines, read books. It's a smooth transition. So the media, there's a lot of media that opens up. And the power of the media is that it allows you to have access to other people's audiences. Now, how many of you, are you ready to leverage other people's audience with your book? How would you type yes in the chat if you see that by using other people's audiences that you can get your message further and farther? If you'd like to publish a best-selling book, then I want to invite you to a free training that I have. I call it the Bestseller Author Secrets Masterclass, where I'm going to show you a behind-the-scenes look at what are the exact secrets that I've been able to use and help my clients to get the #1 bestseller and to be able to write your book within your first or next book within the next 60 days or less. And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to wait months or years to get your book published, to share your health message, to experience the results that Kain Pullen has. She's been able to go through these things that I've shared with you in 3 years. She's been able to have massive success starting from scratch. She's been able to leverage these tools and her book to be able to reach people in ways that she otherwise would have never had. And if Kain can do it, why can't you? And if you really see, instead of like, oh, Kain Pullen can do it because she's Kain, but to think like, well, no, because Kain can do it, that means so can I. And when you have this mindset, then you start to see, allow yourself to dream, have a vision for what's possible. Now, granted, you don't want to start everything all at once, but having the strategic guidance, having the step-by-step plan or a process that you can follow that can help you to know when to focus on which portions can make a huge difference. And that's exactly what I'm going to provide in the Bestseller Secrets Masterclass in the free training. It's a 90-minute training that will go into details about how you can grab the knowledge that you already have and take it from your mind to a finished manuscript and to the mailbox of your ideal clients in the shortest amount of time possible. If you're interested in knowing more about how you can become a best-selling author, how you can, even if you have a book and you want to know how to market it and turn it into a real business beyond your book, then, and you'd like to apply this PRISM wealth code to your business, then I encourage you to comment best-selling down in the chat below. Just comment best-selling and I'd be happy to share with you a link to how you can get access to the best-selling authors masterclass. And the link will be in the description. I am so glad that hopefully I've been able to inspire you, encourage you, help equip you along this journey so that you can see exactly what's possible for your business. And if you'd like help implementing any of these principles, I'd be happy to walk you through the process. And until then, remember, friends, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Have a great day and God bless.